What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today once again we're talking about Dread Horn Bommel, the boss that's providing so many issues for tons of players. We're going to be talking about stage 90 again. It's right around the corner. It's already here for some people who are going to be watching in the future. So I want to talk about Samar Gemcursed Burangiri, all of the champions that are being used to solo. First thing I want to discuss is going to be Burangiri cannot solo stage 90. I used my best gear. I tried giving the champion a full team of 5 to support the champion, and unfortunately the damage is just way too much. The biggest change you're going to see from any floor to stage 90 is going to be the raw damage, not the side dread bomb damage, but the raw damage the boss does ramps up significantly for stage 90. So what I want to talk about today is Samar Gemcursed specifically, since we've already ruled out the Shadowkin champion. So as we can see here, Samar Gemcursed can complete floor 90 on hard for the Doom Tower this rotation. However, he cannot solo it. Now you might be thinking, what do you mean he can't solo it? You have a win screen right in front of you, a victory screen, floor 90. The issue with Samar Gemcursed is he requires every single other champion you see here, or he is not going to succeed. And I'm not just talking about them for wave clear, they're needed for mastery reasons. I'm only using 3 other champions specifically for speed reasons as well. So there's a lot that goes into this, and I really don't want people getting baited into attempting this, and I'm going to show you why momentarily. So the first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and look at how I geared Samar Gemcursed. He's currently wearing Regeneration set as well as Immortal set, but look at his gear and look at his stats. He has 98.6 thousand health, 3.4 thousand defense, 237 speed, crit rate, crit damage, none of that matters, but to get these stats alone with these 2 specific sets are extremely difficult. We're talking about very few players, especially ones who happen to have Samar Gemcursed, are going to be able to replicate this. And on top of that, this team is not 100% win rate, and from what I can see, there is no way to make it 100% win rate. So now that we went over that, I want to kind of take you through a run so you fully understand. Now, while I am talking about stage 90, this will definitely work for the other stages. So if you don't really care, if you're only looking for one champion with 4 or 3 supporting champions to get you through stage 10, 50, and 90 on normal, and 10 and 50 on hard, it's definitely possible for you. The stage 50 stats are going to be relatively high as well with this gear set, so make sure you're careful before investing too much into the champion, because if you cannot hit the stats required for the other difficulties, you're going to have less than a 20% win rate, and this run, as we saw from the beginning screen, takes a very long time as it is. So first, let's talk about the other champions. Fushan, I am using a speed aura here. You don't in fact need a speed aura. This is just one iteration I use that seemed to be the most stable of all, with the highest chance of success out of every single combination that I personally tried, and it has to do with using Fushan with the speed aura and only 3 champions, because I am using a mastery that gives me increased speed once these 3 champions die. However, with that being said, I am going to show you this picture right here, which is using Samar Gemcursed as the leader with the HP aura, Cantrifin, Soul Drinker, as well as Septimus. So there was a quick switch there between Fushan and Cantrifin, but it is possible without a speed aura. However, like I said, this team does not have as high of a win rate as the other team is going to have. So getting back to this team, the main thing you need to know is you have to disable everything minus the A1, and of course you can use this A3 as the opener, since it's an AoE, and any extra damage you can make to the trash will speed up your run significantly. The rest of the AI toggles here don't matter at all. So let's hit save, let's initiate this team, and let's watch the run in action. So another thing that you're going to notice very quickly is to have the highest chance of success for this team specifically, all 3 champions have to die before you hit the boss. Now I've done at least 55 runs of this with just this specific setup as far as Fushan being the leader. This isn't including anything else where I tried Samar Gemcursed as leader. And if these champions survive going into the next wave and they are not killed, it has a higher chance of failing because of what it does to the turn meter of the boss. Now once we do get to the boss, I'm going to explain a few things as to why it's really hard to make this even close to 100% win rate, is there's just a certain condition that I don't even think there's a single player in this game with gear good enough to be able to outdo whatever RNG we're going to see here. So we did have 2 champions survive here, so it's not going to be the highest chance of success. We did get some decent damage onto the boss. The main thing to notice, and what I'm referring to before, is going to be this ability right here. Summons a Dread Bomb and grants an extra turn. Now this extra turn here has terrible synergy with his other skills because they're both 3-turn cooldowns. So as we can see, eventually the order of the skills are going to change based on Samar Gemcursed turn meter and based on the boss's turn meter. The more often he starts to use this extra turn, we're either going to get the remove buff or we're going to get the HP burn application on Samar. So of course the HP burn isn't anything we're going to be worried about here. However, after these abilities, he's always going to follow up with his basic A1 ability, which is going to reduce the cooldown of the bombs on him by 1 and instantly activate the HP burn on the target by 1 turn. So you can see there's tons of damage, and as we just saw there, that was a failed run because the condition wasn't met. So this is very different from other strategies where one champion solos the bosses. Samar Gemcursed is not soloing anything simply because of the setup required from every single other champion here and how specific it is. Now I have heard about and I've seen other people claiming that they have a very high win rate of this. It's really consistent. I've replicated their exact stats and I've done it on stream, and I had about 200 people watching me fail over and over again, which just goes to show you sometimes when people make videos, they're only showing you the successful runs and they're not showing you all of the failed runs that it will in fact take. Another thing to keep in mind here, which once again makes this composition such a nightmare to kind of handle, is since for my case the champions do have to die, they also need enough damage to actually clear the trash wave, because if you just throw Samar Gemcursed in there, the trash is going to one-shot him, so it's not a true solo champion run. So on top of needing borderline ridiculous gear for Samar Gemcursed, you also need incredible savage gear, cruel gear, attack gear, any type of gear that's extremely endgame to be dealing tons of damage to the trash waves. Now I did cheat a little bit using Soul Drinker. The bombs do a significant amount of damage based on the amount of attack he has, so I do have that going for me while I do use Soul Drinker. However, if you want to use straight up nuke champions, I would recommend not using any Spirit Affinity champions, because like I said, if they make it to the boss, they get a weak hit, they survive that extra round, you're going to throw the turn meter off, and I have failed from a desync in his skills at 1% health. So just consider that for one moment. You invest in all of these champions, you swap your gear around, you're spending millions of silver making sure all the gear is just right, and then you get 8 minutes into the run at 1% health and the whole team falls apart. Now while I'm not opposed to having champions like Samar Gemcursed be really good for soloing things, like we've all seen, it does work for normal difficulty very well, has a chance of working on every single floor of the hard Doom Tower. However, based on the previous videos that I've released, from the full guide I made of Bommel with using Whirlim Frost King and resistance, to the video I released just before this one that had to do with no resistance, raw healing, stage 90 as well, that took way less effort and way less gear than banking on one champion here. So it's pretty obvious for a team like this you need one specific champion, which would be Samar. Then rather specific other champions, you do need the specific speed aura that Fushan gives, so if you don't have him, you're going to struggle quite a bit, because he's also a wave clear champion, and if you have to use some random champion with the same amount of speed aura that he does have, you're going to have to make up that damage elsewhere. Between the first and second video guides that I did release for Bommel the Dread Horn for any single difficulty, there was a range from 15 solid champions all the way to 50 or 55 champions you can use with the strategies that I did discuss in those videos to successfully beat this really annoying boss on any difficulty, including 90 hard. So with that fact alone, unless you're missing every single champion and possibility for my previous videos or any other 5 main teams you could think of, I would not recommend anyone actually attempt to use Samar Gemcursed or this solo for the opportunity and the chance of beating this boss, unless it's literally your last resort. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my video today on my personal thoughts after testing Samar Gemcursed in stage 90 of the hard difficulty, my honest feedback from all the testing I've done. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully no one invested too hastily into this champion if they really weren't sure, for having no real indication or little indication as to how well this champion would in fact work all the way to stage 90. As we do approach the opening of stage 90, let me know what champions you guys are planning on using. As always, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.